Hello friends, I am Professor D.J. Trivedi going to take your fifth lecture related with EL 4502 unit number 3 flip-flop memory elements. We have already studied the various type of the flip-flops. We have started with the basic RS flip-flops and then we have studied that the basic RS flip-flop was completely transparent. That means any change at the input will reflect immediately at the output, and hence this flip-flop has to be modified. And then we have studied the level triggered flip-flops. That means it can be enable or it can be disabled by the AND gates. Then we have studied the clock RS flip-flop, which is going to be open for certain period of time. That then after we have studied clock RS flip-flop, clock D flip-flop and clock JK flip-flop, and then after we have studied regarding edge triggered flip-flops. There are various edge triggered flip-flop was there. One of them was JK flip-flop was there. In a JK flip-flop, there are positive edge triggered flip-flop and negative edge triggered flip-flop you have studied. The duration of the time when the flip-flop is going to be enabled was reduced by edge triggering. That means when clock is changing from low to high, or when it is changing from high to low, which is called the negative edge trigger. During that time only, whatever information at J and K, accordingly the flip-flop is going to be set or reset, and that is called edge triggered flip-flop. The advantage of this edge triggered flip-flop is that the racing time is reduced. That means the propagation delay time, if it is larger than the aging time or the clock time, then it will not be having any racing problem. Otherwise, there will be race around condition or racing condition is going to be occur. That means toggling more than once is going to be there. To modify these things, there is another flip-flop is develop, and that flip-flop is called JK master slave flip-flops. Here the master and slave, there are two same type of the flip-flop is going to be utilized, but both are JK flip-flops is going to be there, but the master is responding on a positive edge or positive level of the clock pulse or high level of the clock pulse, and the slave is responding when the clock pulse is going to be low. That means master is responding earlier than the slave. This way the JK master slave flip-flop was developed, and this JK master slave flip-flop we are going to study over here right now. So JK master slave flip-flops. Figure 8.28 shows one way to build a JK master slave flip-flop. Here is how it works. To begin with, the master is positive level triggered and the slave is negative level triggered. That means when the positive level is going to be there, the master is responding to its J and K inputs, and slave is responding when the level is going to be low, clock level is going to be low. Clock pulse is given simultaneously to the master as well as the slave. Therefore, the master responds to its J and K inputs before it will respond to the slave. If J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0, the master sets on a positive clock transition. The high value of the Q output of the master drives the J input of the slave. So, on the negative clock transition, slave sets copying the action of the master. So, master and slave are going to be connected like this. You can see in a figure 8.28, there are two flip-flops, two JK flip-flop is there. The inputs are J and K, and this is the clock input, but this is called a master flip-flop, and it is responding when the positive level of the clock is going to be occur. And the slave, this is the slave flip-flop, it is only identical, but only the things that it is responding on negative level of the clock only. Thus this way the master and slave flip-flops are connected in series, but the clock frequency is connected in a parallel. If j is equal to 0 and k is equal to 1, the master resets on a positive transition of the clock. The high value of the q bar, because the master is going to be reset, that means q becomes 0 and q bar becomes 1. So q bar is going to be 1, that is the k input of the slave. So j input of the slave is going to be 0, k input of the slave is going to be 1. So on negative transition of the clock pulse, the slave is responding to this new input and the slave is also going to be reset. So what happens? The slave has copying the action of the master on negative clock transition. Now the third conditions. If master's j and k inputs are both high, that means it is a toggle mode conditions. So when j is equal to k is equal to 1, the master is responding on positive transition of the clock. That means the master is toggling, or output is going to be complemented on a positive transition of the clock level. And similarly, the slave will be toggled on negative transition of the clock level. That means regardless of what master does, therefore the slave copying its action. If the master sets, the slave sets. If master resets, the slave is also going to be resets. If j is equal to k is equal to 0, it is a no change condition. The flip flop is disabled and q remains unchanged. So what happens when the j is equal to 1, k is equal to 1, both the flip flops are going to be not responding to its j is equal to k is equal to 0, the flip flop is disabled and q retains its last value, or it is not going to be changed. Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn only. The symbol for 7476 master slave flip flop is shown in figure 8.29. Either it can be preset to q is equal to high by taking a preset low, or it can be reset to q is equal to low by taking clear low. These two inputs takes precedent over all other signals. So you know that just like whatever we have studied in a previous flip flops, that there are asynchronous controls are there which can preset or clear the flip flop. Here also the preset, which is in short, it is known as a PR, and clear, which is in short, it is known as a CLR. These two controls can preset the flip flop, that means Q becomes 1, or it can be reset the flip flop, or when the clear input is going to be activated. Second things, in a symbol, the preset and clear input are shown with the circle. It means that this asynchronous control are active low. That means if you want to activate any one of these inputs, then that particular terminal has to be made ground or 0, and hence that particular terminal or either preset or clear is going to be activated, and accordingly without clock pulse the output is going to be either preset or clear. So it indicates here, so either it can be preset q is equal to high or 1 by taking preset low, or it can be reset to q is equal to L by taking clear low. These two inputs take precedent over all other inputs. That means it does not bother about what is the j and k inputs is there or what is the clock input is there. So these two inputs, that is asynchronous control, have precedent over all other input signals. There is something different, however. First of all, notice that clock C is not age triggered. The master does in fact changes the state when clock goes high. The master does in fact changes the state when clock goes high. However, while clock is high, any change in the J or K will immediately affect the master flip flops. That means this is a level triggered flip flop. So when the clock level is going to be high, master is enabled or master is transparent to its J and K inputs. So if there is a set condition, master is going to be set, and if it is a reset condition, J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1, master is going to be reset. If it is a toggle mode condition, J is equal to K is equal to 1, the master is going to be toggle while clock level is going to be high. So this particular flip-flop is not edge triggered flip-flop. It does not bother about the edge, but it depends upon the level of the clock pulses. So the clock pulse is going to be high, it is responding. So when you want to do something, then what you have to do? You apply the inputs J and K. If you want to set or reset or toggle, then apply the clock levels. Once the clock level is going to be high, at that time it will respond. Once it is respond, then you have to wait that clock pulse passes away or its time is going to be over. Until that, you cannot change the J and K inputs. Otherwise, the flip-flop is responding to this new inputs. So this J and K input has to be made static or it has to be stable, unchanging until the clock level changes. Then after, output of the master is the input of the slave flip-flop, and when the clock pulse is changing from high to low, then the slave is going to be responding and output is going to be occur. So this flip-flop is negative level flip-flops. In other words, the master is transparent while clock level is going to be high, and thus J and K input must be static during this high level of the clock. You can see this is the symbol of JK master slave flip flop. J input is there, K input is there, and this is going to be C, means clock input is going to be there. The preset and clear, that asynchronous clear and asynchronous preset is also going to be available with the bubble, which indicate that preset and clear inputs are active low. Here Q and Q bar outputs are going to be there, that they are complement to each other. Here the bubble is there, it means that Q and Q bar are complement to each other. Second thing, this kind of symbol is there, that means the level is changing from high to low. That means output of this flip-flop is going to be set according to when the level clock level is changing from high to low only. In the both the cases, Q and Q bar both are changing the state only when clock makes a transition from high to low. So in a truth table, this kind of 3 columns will be there for the input side, that is a clock, J and K. Output side, there is a Qn plus 1, and whatever the action is there, that is going to be action here. So the input J is equal to low, K is equal to low, and when the clock pulse is going to be occur. So here instead of arrow, whether it is going to be upward direction arrow or vertically downward direction arrow according to the positive edge trigger or negative edge trigger in the previous JK flip-flop, here in a clock column there is a pulses are shown, which indicate that this flip-flop are level triggered flip-flops, or it is a pulse flip-flop is going to be there. When the pulse is going to be completed, then the output is going to be set. So J is equal to 0, K is equal to 0. It is no change conditions. The flip-flop is disabled and Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn only. It is whatever the previous value is there, it is going to be retained. It is not going to be changed. Second times, when J is equal to low and K is equal to high, that means it is the reset condition. The flip-flop is going to be reset after one clock pulse. That means Qn plus 1 is going to be L, and that is called reset conditions. J is equal to high and K is equal to low. It is a set conditions. So flip-flop is going to be set after one complete clock pulse. That means the positive transition of the clock as well as on the negative transition of the clock is going to be occur. Then the flip-flop is going to be set. That means output of the flip-flop Q is going to be 1 or it is going to be high. And if J is equal to high and K is equal to high, which is the toggle mode conditions, after one clock pulse, the flip-flop output is going to be complemented. Qn plus 1 is nothing but Qn bar. So output is going to be complemented. This way, JK master slave flip-flop is a pulse triggered flip-flop, and it will work according to this truth table. The truth table in figure 8.29b reveals that this section by means of pulse symbol. Second, the symbol which is changing from high level to low level appearing next to the Q and Q bar outputs is the IEEE designated for postponed output. That means output is going to be occur only after the trailing edge of the clock pulse. In this case, it means that Q does not change the state until the clock makes a negative transition. In other words, the content of the master are shifted into the slave on the clock negative transition, and at this time Q changes the state. To summarize, a master is set according to J and K while the clock is going to be high. The content of the master are then shifted into the slave. Q changes the state when clock goes slow. This particular flip-flop might be referred to as pulse triggered flip-flop to distinguish it from the edge triggered flip-flop previously discussed. There are numerous pulse triggered master slave flip-flop in use today. However, because edge triggered flip-flop have overcome the restriction of holding J and K static when the clock is going to be high, most new design incorporate edge triggered devices. That means master slave flip-flop, which was level triggered flip-flop or pulse triggered flip-flop, is changed to edge triggered flip-flop in a new design which is going to be incorporated because there is a limitation in this flip-flop because it is responding to the high level of master. When J and K input is changing, then the master is going to be responding when the level of the clock is going to be high. So J and K has to be hold steady or static. Some of the more popular pulse triggered flip-flop you might encounter includes 7473, 7476 and 7478. So these are the most popular pulse triggered flip-flop which you have studied: 7473, 7476 and 7478. Their more modern edge triggered counterparts include 74LS73A, this is the low power Scotty TTL, and A indicates that it is edge triggered in the same condition: 74LS76A and 74LS78A, which is nothing but the master slave JK flip flop, but it is edge triggered flip flops. Now, using this master slave edge triggered flip flop, there are some applications, and one of the application is it is working as what divide by 2. Frequency is divided by 2. So frequency divider, that means if there is a clock frequency here f or f0, then output frequency is going to be frequency f0 is going to be divided by 2. The JK master slave flip flop in figure 8.29 has its J and K input tied to the plus VCC, that means in a toggle mode condition, and a series of pulses, actually a square wave, are applied to its clock input. Describe the expected waveform at Q. Since the J and K inputs are 1, the flip-flop simply toggles each time clock goes low. The waveform at Q has a period twice that of S clock waveforms. In other words, the frequency of Q is only one half of the frequency of clock frequency. So you can see that initially the output Q is going to be 0 when the first clock pulse is going to be there. On a positive transition, the master is going to be respond, or master is going to be toggle, and on the trailing edge of the clock pulse, the slave is going to be toggle and output is going to be changed from 0 to 1. Again, when the slave is going to be toggle on next high level to low level, again the output is going to be changed from high to low. And this way, this is the output waveform at Q, and this is the clock input waveform is going to be there. Now you can see that period of output waveform from here to here, that is T by 2, and from here to here when it is going to be low. So summation of this clock pulse output waveforms timing periodic time is nothing but one clock period plus second clock period. That means the output pulse period is twice the period of input clock waveforms, and hence the frequencies could be divided by 2. This circuit acts as a frequency divider. The output frequency is equal to the input frequency divided by 2. Note that Q changes the state on negative transition of the clock. The waveform are given in figure 8.30. So this way, this is a very important application that this flip-flop can be working as a frequency divider circuit, or it is dividing the input frequency by 2, and this is the application is utilized to build up a counter and the shift register also. Next topic which we are going to study here is switch contact bounce circuit. What happens when you want to give the digital signals to the digital circuits? You know what is the digital signals means. You want to give either input of the digital gates are going to be low or high. When it is going to be low, it should be given by 0 volt, and when it is going to be high, if it is TTL, it should be given by plus 5 volt. This is corresponds with the binary 0 and 1. It can be provided through mechanical contact switches like SPST switch. SPST means single pole, single throw switch is going to be there. That is, it is connected, the switch is going to be connected with the power supply of 5 volt positive terminal and negative terminal, that is the ground. So when the switch is in one position, it will provide the output voltage is going to be plus VCC, and when it is in another position, then arms of the switch is going to be another position, then it will provide 0 volt DC, and that way 1 and 0 electrical signal is provided to the digital circuits. In nearly digital system, there will be occasion to use mechanical contact for the purpose of conveying electrical signals. Example of these are switches used on a keyboard of the computer system. In each case, the intent is to apply a high logic level, usually plus 5 volt DC, or a low logic level, 0 logic level to the 0 volt DC. This single pole single throw SPST switch shown in a figure 8.31a is one such example through which this kind of electrical signal can be provided to the digital devices. When the switch is open, the voltage at point A is going to be plus 5 volt. When the switch is going to be closed, the voltage at point A is going to be 0 volt DC. We will see in the circuitry. Ideally, the voltage waveform at A should appear as shown in the figure 831b, as the switch is moved from open to close or close to open, like vice versa. In actuality, in reality, the waveform at point A will appear more or less as shown in the figure 8.31c as the result of phenomena known as a contact bounces. You can consider like this. This is your SPST switch is going to be there, which is connected with the plus 5 volt power supply positive terminal and negative terminal, and it is connected through the resistance R, which is nothing but for current limiting resistance will be there. So when the switch is open like this, the voltage at point A, this is your output of the switch terminal through which you can provide the electrical signal to the digital devices. So when the switch is open, the output voltage is going to be plus 5 volt because no current is passing through the resistance. So IR is going to be 0. So whatever the potential at this end of the resistance, that is going to be appear at another end of the resistance. So the output at point A is going to be 5 volt. So You can see in the waveform also, this is the ideal waveform at point A. When the switch is going to be open, the voltage at A is going to be 5 volt. When the switch is going to be closed, like this one, this arm is going to be connected with this arm. What happens? This circuit is going to be closed. So current will be passed. V upon R is equal to I, that is going to be the current, and IR is the voltage drop across this one, and the potential at this point is going to be 0 because the ground is connected through the switch 0 resistance to the point A. So the voltage at point A is going to be 0 volt. So when the switch is going to be closed, the potential at point A is going to be 0 volt will be there, that you can see in the ideal waveform. Again, when the switch is going to be open, the current becomes 0 and the potential at A is going to be high. Again, it is going to be low when the switch is going to be closed. So this is the ideal waveform appear at the point A will be there. Now, in reality, what is going to be happen? Because of the contact bounces. This is a mechanical switch, and because it is a mechanical switch, it is having an arm which you can put it in one stable position, and from one stable position you change to the another stable positions. What happens? This contact arm is going to be bounces because it is having a spring action. So this arm is going to be make and break contact with this arm. So when the switch is going to be closed, from open to close, it is bouncing with this contact. That means it makes and break contact like this one. So what happens? When it makes the contact, the voltage at point A is going to be 0, and when it breaks the contact, the potential at A is going to be plus 5 volt. So there is a this kind of waveforms are to be generated. So when the switch is changing from the one stable state open to the close, so the voltage at point A is changing from high to low, plus 5 volt to 0 volt, and again because the contact is bouncing, so the arm is going to be disconnected. So again the voltage is going to be rise to the plus 5 volt. Again it makes a contact, so again it is going to be 0, again it is going to be high, again it is going to be low. That way this is going to be bouncing will be there, and the waveforms appear in actual at point A is like this waveform when the switch is changing its position from open to close. Now when it is going to be open also, from the close to open also, the mechanical bounces will be there, but its effects will not be appear in the waveform at A because the point A is floating while contact is changing from close to open condition. So that waveform here it is not going to be appear. You can see that it is only appear while the switch is makes its contact from open to close. Number of bounces and period of these bounces, that depends upon the devices, and that is the characteristic of the devices. Any mechanical switching device consists of a moving contact arm restrained by some sort of spring system. As a result, when the arm is moved from one stable position to the other, the arm bounces much as a hard ball bounces when dropped on a hard surface. So you know that when you are having some hard ball, maybe some rubber ball or any other ball, when you are just putting that ball on a hard surface on a floor, it is bouncing. So it makes and breaks the contact with the surface. So the same way when this spring action of the system, when you are changing the moving contact arm from one position to another position, then contact is also going to be bouncing, and that's why the bouncing waveforms are going to be occur. The number of bounces that occur and the period of bounce differ for each switching devices. Notice carefully that in this particular instant, even though actual physical contact bounce occurs each time the switch is open or closed, contact bounce appear at the voltage level at point A bounces only when the switch is going to be closed. So in reality, in mechanical system, the contact bounce is going to be occur in both the positions. That means when it is changing from open to close or close to open, the bouncing is going to be there. But here the switch is going to be connected in such a way that the bouncing appear at the output waveforms at point A is only when the switch is making the change from open to close. If the voltage at point A is applied to the input of TTL circuit, the circuit will respond properly when the switch is going to be open, because since no contact bounce is going to be occur. So if this output of point A is applied to the digital inputs or digital circuits, then the circuit will respond properly when the switch is going to be making from open to close, because there is no contact bounce. But when there is a switch is going to be changing from open to close, then the bounces is going to be appear in the waveform, and that means multiple signals are going to be appear at the input of digital devices. However, when the switch is going to be closed, the circuit will respond as if multiple signals were applied rather than single switch closure intended. The undesired result of mechanical contact bounce. Maybe it creates a malfunctioning of the digital circuits. There is need here for some sort of electronic circuit to eliminate the contact bounce problem. So that should be somehow we have to remove this bounces which is occurring at the waveform at the output or at point A has to be removed, and that kind of circuit is called debounce circuit, and one of the debounce circuit can be used using the basic RS flip flop, or it is a latch, RS latch. A simple RS latch debounce circuit. The RS latch in figure 8.32 will remove any contact bounce due to the switch. The output Q is used to generate a desired switch signal. When the switch is in moved to the position H, R is going to be 0 and S is equal to 1. Bouncing occurs at the S input due to the switch. The flip-flop sees this as a series of high and low inputs settling with the high level. The flip-flop will immediately be set with Q is equal to 1 at the first high level on the S. So how it will work, that we can see through the figure here. So here there is a basic RS flip-flop is going to be used here. The S input is given through the resistance R grounded, and the SR input is also through the resistance grounded. So and there is a switch here. If the contact arm is in upper positions high level, then the VCC is going to be connected here, and when the contact arm is in a lower position, that means L, it is connected, the VCC is connected to the R, or R becomes 1, we can see that. So when the switch is changing the position from low to high, what happens? This contact is bouncing on this hard surface at H, and hence the multiple signals is going to appear at S here. So the S input becomes 1, but that S input becomes 1 and 0 so many times. So multiple signals are going to be appear here like this one. So switch position is changing from low to high according to the waveform. You can see here that S is facing a multiple signals like this. But because S is going to be 1 and R is going to be 0 at the first signal itself, the flip-flop is going to be set and Q becomes 1. So Q is changing its position from low to high at the first positive transition at S only. And then after, even that S becomes 0, but R was also 0. So S is equal to 0, R is equal to 0, that is no change condition. It will retain the previous value, and the previous value was 1. So the flip-flop remains to be set even when it is a multiple signal is going to be there. So it is responding to first level changes from low to high at S only. Similarly, when the switch position is changing from high to low, again this contact arm is bouncing on L here. That means the multiple signals is going to be facing at R. S becomes 0, R is going to be 1 on the first high level. So at that time, the flip-flop is going to be reset and output is going to be changed from 1 to 0, and flip-flop stores the output 0 at the first level of R is going to be high. And even there is a multiple signals, it does not change because S is equal to 0, R is equal to 0, it is a no change conditions. It was reset on the first high level and it remains reset only, which is described here. When the switch bounces, the losing contact, when the switch bounces, losing contacts, the input signals are R is equal to S is equal to 0. Therefore, the flip-flop remains set Q is equal to 1. When the switch regain contact, R is equal to 0, S is equal to 1. This causes the attempt to again set the flip-flop. But since the flip-flop is already set, no change occur at the Q output. Q remains set only. The result is that the flip-flop responds to the first and only to the first high level at its S input, resulting in a clean low to high signal at its output Q. When the switch is moved to the position L, that means lower side, S is going to be 0, R is going to be 1, bouncing occur at R input due to the switch. Again, the flip-flop sees a series of, this is as a series of high and low inputs or bounces. It simply responds to the first high level at R and ignores following transition. The result is a clean high to low signal at the flip-flop output and the flip-flop stores 0. The waveform at figure 8.32b illustrates this behavior. It shows that the waveform which is going to be bounce free waveform is going to be there, and this way the latch or RS flip-flop, basic RS flip-flop can be utilized at the input of A, and hence output of this flip-flop will be as a contact debouncing circuit, and the output of Q will be acting like a digital signal to the digital gates. Thank you very much, friends. These are the test questions. What is the main difference between edge triggered and pulse triggered JK flip flop? I have explained that the flip flop which is responding on a transition from low to high level or high to low level is called the edge triggered flip flop, may be positive edge triggered or a negative edge triggered, and that transition period is very small, that is T rise and T falls time only. During that time the flip flop is active or it takes the value of which is going to be present at J and K, while pulse triggered flip flop is going to be responding on a positive level of a clock pulse as well as the negative level of the clock pulse, and that time is going to be larger. So J and K input must be kept static while at master when the clock level is going to be high. Explain the operation of master slave flip-flop in figure 8.29, and that is also we have discussed in this slide and lecture. What is the switch contact bounce? That you have studied that multiple signals are to be appear when the switch makes a change in the position from high level or open to close. Multiple signals are to be appear at a digital inputs, which is called a contact bounce. Why is switch contact bounce important to account for digital system? Because that has to be removed, otherwise it will be malfunctioning the digital system. Thank you very much, friends.